Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, the probable cause of AIDS has been found, a variant of a known human cancer virus. Second, not only has the agent been identified, but a new process has been developed to mass produce this virus. Thirdly, with discovery of both the virus and this new process, we now have a blood test for AIDS. With the blood test, we can identify AIDS victims with essentially 100% certainty.
Thank you, Secretary.
Tonight I have an in-studio guest who has been on the program a number of times before. She is author, amongst other things, of the book, What If Everything You Thought You Knew About AIDS Was Wrong? Her name is Christine Maggiore, and Christine, it's always great to see you.
Thank you.
What's this book about, and how did you write it?
Well, I wrote it based on my personal exploration of HIV and AIDS information, which was inspired by me testing positive in 1992. When I first tested positive, I didn't have any real questions about what I was being told. I was told, of course, that I was infected with a deadly virus, that I could expect to die. At that time, the prognosis was 5 to 7 years, that I would need to take drugs that would somehow keep me alive while compromising my health, that I could expect to die of AIDS and not to have anything resembling a normal life. I accepted that and went on to become a public speaker and educator for some local AIDS organizations here. And about 1.5 years into my public service, I ran into some information that caused me to question what I was told, and shortly thereafter I had the personal experience of testing indeterminate, positive, negative, and positive, which really set me wondering what was going on. And the book is a result of my exploration of information that I guess you could say is outside of the mainstream, but is totally founded in scientific, medical, and epidemiological fact. And that's what I put together because I felt it was really important to share that with people, not just people who test positive, because The whole idea of HIV and AIDS affects everyone's lives. It shapes everyone's worldviews and factors into their decisions about a lot of things. So it's kind of a book for everyone, but most especially for people who've tested positive, to give them a chance to learn what I refer to as the other side of AIDS information, and to possibly do what I do, which is to live healthy, medication-free, a normal existence with good health and a beautiful family and, you know, good things coming my way.
People who work with cancer patients have known for a long time, and it's well documented, that many people after getting their prognosis die faster than the cancer actually kills them. And this acceleration is based on their emotions. And when a person is told they're HIV positive, what I see happening is, I invented a term to describe it, the AIDS zone. And to me, the AIDS zone is a collection of very toxic emotional states. And these emotional states are both intense and chronic. So a person's told they're positive, and then they're experiencing intense fear, intense shame, intense guilt, intense feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. And this combination of these intense emotions, in and of itself, could knock out and undermine their natural defenses. And then I notice a pattern. Within a period of time in the AIDS zone, you would see people and they stopped eating. They stopped sleeping regularly. They stopped taking care of themselves. And you began to notice that there was this pattern emerging where getting sick and dying was the only thing they could think of.
Once you are tested, you are programmed to think any disease that you get, you're going to die, you know. And if someone just coughed, we used to joke and say it's AIDS, you know. At one time in January 1993, so many of my friends were getting sick and some dying that I actually left the place and came to South Africa to sort of get away from that environment, which was like everybody's expecting that you must die.
I went and got drunk several times. I cried. I had to force myself to tell a friend. I thought it was over. I was, in my mind, prepared for death and disease and no love, never being touched or kissed again, just becoming a horrible, walking, dead person.
I mean, it couldn't be spread. It had to be contained within me and not go on beyond me. And there was a lot, you know, there was a lot of ostracizing of me because of that.
Well, we were so careful. We had to maintain the family integrity, which meant that both Paul and I, her husband and I, had to survive. We could not get the virus. We had to be extremely careful. So when Chris would cut her leg, we'd have to run and put a bandage on it. Don't spread the blood around. Don't let anybody touch it. We wouldn't double dip into a bowl of salsa, afraid that maybe that's the way we can pass it. It was...
We bleached everything.
Everything got bleached. Everything was always constantly
We turned
clean.
into the neurotics that we hated.
It was insane because both Paul and I had to survive this thing for the kids' sake.
I keep thinking back to that very first time, that fateful time I go into the free clinic to get tested for HIV. I walk in fine, and they tell me, you have a fatal disease. And I thought, it's almost like you go there to get one. It's as if you're fine, then you walk in, and then they tell you, you have a fatal disease, and you're going to die.
Starting from 1986 when I tested, I've always felt perfectly fine. I mean, there have been psychological factors associated with being diagnosed with a fatal illness, but I've never actually felt sick. So I would go to the doctor feeling perfectly healthy, but scared out of my mind because the fact that I would have my blood drawn and they would count my T cells would potentially tell me that I was that much closer to death.
Bone pointing is a phenomenon where in Aboriginal groups there's a belief that someone in the group has the power of life and death. And if a member of the group breaks a taboo,